All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. When the Seattle Seahawks traded quarterback Russell Wilson to the Denver Broncos last year, it appeared on the outside looking in that they were waving the white towel for this season, or for this past season, rather, even before it began. But before you knew it, the Seahawks were winning games that people expected them to lose. And when it was all said and done, Seattle was a playoff team. Now, a reason for the Seahawks' success last year was the play of quarterback Geno Smith. Smith spent the previous 2 years in Seattle as Wilson's backup, but he had a past life as a starting quarterback in the NFL with the New York Jets. And of course, there, things did not work out. And between Smith's time with the Jets and, coming to Seattle, he spent the year as the backup quarterback to Eli Manning with the New York Giants, and then with the Los Angeles Chargers. And it honestly kind of expected the backup quarterback position to be the route that he would have to go for the remainder of his NFL career. But 2022 by far was the best year for Geno Smith in the NFL. He completed nearly 70% of his passes. He threw 30 touchdown passes. He earned Pro Bowl honors as well as Comeback Player of the Year honors. And Smith's success led to the Seahawks rewarding him earlier this week with a 3-year contract for $105 million, which is a far cry from what we expected a year ago. And now, because of Smith's success, the Seahawks do have options. Now, Seattle heads into next month's NFL draft in possession of the fifth overall pick. And that's the pick that they got from the Broncos or one of the picks, rather, that they got from the Broncos for the Russell Wilson trade. And now with Smith as their quarterback for the next several years, Seattle's in the catbird seat because they can use that fifth overall pick to go in a bevy of different directions in order to fill holes on this team. Or they could trade that pick with a team that is quarterback needy, which would, of course, result in Seattle possibly obtaining more draft capital to work with. And for Geno Smith, what a difference that a decade makes for him, because he went from being a youngster who had to wait in the green room of the NFL draft until the second round to hear his name. And of course, things have changed over the years at the NFL draft. The first round is Thursday night, rounds 2 through 3 are Friday night, and then 4 through 7 are on Saturday. So with Geno Smith being in the green room, he was there for the entire first round. Didn't hear his name, had to come back on Friday night before he finally heard his name called by the Jets. And having to go through that, being in an awful situation with the Jets from the word go, going to the Giants and being at the center of the Eli Manning benching controversy back in 2017, and that was no fault of Geno Smith. Nonetheless, he was just there. And then now his time as a starting quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks. And, getting back to Geno's time with the Jets, he just walked into a bad situation. The Jets were a bad team, and they've been a bad team for a long time. And then on top of that, it's been a graveyard there as far as young quarterbacks trying to develop at the NFL level. You just think it wasn't just Geno Smith recently. You look at the struggles of Sam Darnold there, and most recently, Zach Wilson. So, again, a lot of that has to come back to the organization. But nonetheless, Geno got away from that. But he also had to grow up because Geno made a lot of mistakes, most notably during his time with the New York Jets. And some of that just comes with maturity. And, sometimes when it doesn't work out, you get the opportunity to be a backup quarterback like Geno was for several years, and the game tends to slow down, and you get to, get a little bit more tutoring, a little bit more seasoning, if you will, under your belt. And then you come into a quarterback room with Russell Wilson in 2020, and you learn more about the position, learning how to be a pro. And Geno Smith has done that. He's had the opportunity for a couple of years to learn the nuances of the Seahawks system. And I think that benefited both him and the Seattle Seahawks this past season. So you look at it, Geno Smith, at least for the next couple of years, is going to be the starting quarterback for the Seahawks. And who knows? This could be a scenario where we're talking about Geno Smith possibly being the Seahawks quarterback for the next 10 years. We don't know. Maybe he's just a bridge gap quarterback until they find their guy 4 or 5 years down the road. We don't know. But nonetheless, I think this past season was a testament to the perseverance of Geno Smith. And I think him getting this contract was just the icing on the cake. I mean, this was a guy who, it didn't work out for him in the biggest market in the NFL, bounced around, and then he's finally found himself a home in the Pacific Northwest. Geno Smith wants to be a Seahawk. The Seahawks want Geno Smith. And, this contract is the culmination of all of that. So let's just see how Smith can build off of this and how the Seahawks can also build off of this heading into next season. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now, you can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So, once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I am signing off, saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.